Whenever Carlos Hallowell found himself in a disagreement with Denise Hallowell, he would go outside and chop wood while imagining the words of his adopted mother written underneath his swinging axe. On the 13th of July, 2019, when Hallowell was 17 years old, his imagination began to creep into reality. Denise Hallowell, who was 57 years old at the time of her death, was sleeping at their home in the Inverness region when Hallowell, who was enraged by a recent disagreement regarding his education, took an axe to the back of Denise's skull and killed her. Hallowell, who was 19 years old at the time, was found guilty of premeditated murder by a jury consisting of 6 individuals on Friday afternoon, July 9, bringing an end to a trial that had lasted for 3 days. Approximately 1 hour and 25 minutes were spent deliberating to reach a decision. Circuit Court Judge Richard "Rick" Howard has scheduled the sentence of Hallowell for the 9th and 10th of September 2009. A sentence of up to life in prison is possible for Hallowell. Because he was a juvenile at the time of the commission of the capital offense, he is not qualified to be placed on death row. At the moment when his conviction was announced, Hallowell, who was dressed in a suit, joined his cuffed hands together in prayer as he was being led out of the courthouse by a bailiff. An arrest was made in connection with the death of the teacher. The actions that Hallowell took for approximately 26 minutes before the murder were described to the jurors by Assistant State Attorney Blake Shore in his closing statements. These actions included Hallowell obtaining the weapon from a locked shed outside and sharpening it while stewing with anger over his intention to cause Denise Hallowell harm. The prosecutor stated, each of those steps was a chance for him to turn back. But each of those steps is also going to show you his determination to carry out his plan to kill his mother. And the prosecutor went on to say that the plan was successful. In his closing comments, Assistant Public Defender Ed Spate claimed that jurors should take into consideration the highly severe and mentally abusive parenting that Hallowell experienced under the care of Denise Hallowell, who adopted Hallowell from Guatemala when he was 4 years old. Spate was attempting to win a lesser conviction of manslaughter for his client. The attorney for Hallowell stated that his client was lost, confused, and rejected, and that he did not intend to kill his mother. What he did was wrong, and now he has to live with the consequences of his actions, someone said. He wasn't thinking, he just acted, the person said. Denise Hallowell was attempting to steer her son in the right direction, according to Shore, but Hallowell was determined to have things go his way. At the time of his trial, Hallowell decided to abstain from testifying as a witness. As the evening of July 13 approached, Hallowell dialed 911 to report discovering his mother's lifeless body inside their residence, which was located off of South Dodge Point. He claimed that he made the find after being roused from a 2-hour snooze by the barking of the family dogs that had escaped from their garden. Deputy sheriffs from the Citrus County Sheriff's Office testified that they found Denise Hallowell lying on her bed with 3/4 of an axe blade embedded in the back of her head. In addition, forensic teams stated that they did not discover any indications of a forced entrance into the lakeside home that was surrounded by acres of hardwood forest. The police have arrested the son for the murder of his mother. Hallowell was released to the Florida Department of Children and Families on July 13 after Sheriff's Office detectives had interviewed him. However, their investigations into his questionable comments continued. An iPhone belonging to Denise Hallowell and 3 security cameras that were taken from her residence were found by a sheriff's dive team at the bottom of a lake that is located near the Hallowell residence. According to the testimony of the investigators, they were able to get information from the cameras and cell phones of Denise and Hallowell to disprove Hallowell's claims that he was sleeping before the passing of his mother. During the time that Hallowell was contacting 911, the authorities were also able to map out the travels of his iPhone between the house and the lake by using the GPS capabilities of his mobile and the timings of the activities that occurred on the device. In his testimony on Friday, Sergeant Chris Holloway, who is a member of the Major Crimes Unit of the Sheriff's Department, stated that Hallowell was brought in for a second round of interrogation on September 16, 2019, which was the day that Hallowell was arrested. In October, a grand jury in Citrus County indicted Hallowell on charges of first-degree murder. A recording of the police interview was presented to the jurors by Shore and co-prosecutor Richard Buxman before they rested their case early on Friday afternoon. Son, who is accused of killing his mother, enters a not guilty plea. Holloway confronted Hallowell with the new evidence, and Hallowell continued to dispute the detective's allegations. However, Hallowell eventually revealed that he had thrown the cameras and his mother's mobile into the lake because he panicked after witnessing his mother's death. Holloway responded by saying, "That is not something that makes any sense to do. There is no one else who could have accomplished this other than you. The evidence does not support any other candidate." Later on, Hallowell gradually altered the tale he had initially told. The altercation between Hallowell and Denise Hallowell took place on the afternoon of July 13, as they were traveling home from a funeral in St. Petersburg. Hallowell stated that he and Denise Hallowell had a history of arguing with each other. The murder trial of Hallowell begins with the selection of the jury and the opening statements. Carlos Hallowell's trial for the premeditated murder of his adoptive mother began on the fast track of a truncated week. This was because Tropical Storm Elsa was looming outside the courthouse at the time its proceedings began. On the morning of Tuesday, July 6, attorneys and Citrus County Circuit Judge Rick Howard selected 6 jurors and 2 alternates to preside over the trial of Hallowell, which was planned to last for a week. The jury consisted of 6 men and 2 women. In the afternoon, the attorneys presented their opening comments and questioned a few witnesses throughout the proceedings. The courthouse, however, was forced to lock its doors for business on Wednesday as a result of Elsa's approach. The trial of Hallowell will resume on Thursday morning. Howard was informed by the solicitors that they anticipate delivering their closing statements by Friday. He stated that his mother was going to quit paying for his education, since he desired to attend a technical college rather than continue his education to earn a 4-year degree. The words that hurt were spoken by Hallowell, who also mentioned that his mother verbally assaulted him in the years leading up to her passing because she was dissatisfied with his bad grades and circle of friends. As a result of the things that I wished to do, she told me that I was a useless piece of expletive and that she let me have it big time. According to what he told the police, Hallowell retrieved the axe from a shed and brought it to the garage to sharpen it while his mother was sleeping. Hallowell stated that he would chop wood and use the axe to strike down his mother's remarks into oblivion, to get his anger out after they had argued in the past that he and Denise Hallowell disagreed. "Is it true that you murdered your mother?" Holloway inquired about it. "I mean, yeah," Hallowell said before expressing his relief. "I mean, yeah. It's been killing me, eating me up real bad." The individual stated that Hallowell opened the door to his mother's bedroom while holding the axe. He then went into a state of unconsciousness and regained consciousness to see the instrument embedded in Denise Hallowell. This prompted him to get rid of the cameras and the mobile. Hallowell stated, "I remember sharpening the axe, and now, all of a sudden, it's in the back of her head," referring to the situation. "It was a little bit of a snap decision. It wasn't anything I had planned on happening. Do you like it?" Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.